guys, I'm ChezPride, and today I want to review the Sims 4 free base game patch update that came out July 1st, 2025, which is the patch releasing the week before the Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature is officially out. It's a pretty big one since it's a patch before a big expansion pack. They used to come out with these like a couple of days before the pack would actually release, but recently they've seemed to learn their lesson and give themselves a little bit more time ahead in case, it tends to break the game, because it has done that in the past. But think in the past where these updates we got things like platforms, round walls, ladders, and even infants. All of those were in the patches before big expansion packs. And we are going to go over everything, including every bug fix in the patch notes, plus anything else that we can dig up on the internet. So I have pulled up the notes, I've got my game updated, so let's go ahead and dive in and see what we are getting for free in the base game. But just make sure, if you haven't already, to make sure to back up your saves in your tray folder and also remove your mods and update them before putting them back in your game. You can typically update your mods within a couple of days if the mods do need updating, but it just also depends on the mod creator and the mods. Some of the mods don't update, but things like MC Command Center, UI cheats, those typically break and have to be updated after this. But it's just better to play it safe than ruin your save files and corrupt your game. So make sure you back up your save and take out your mods. So I say let's waste no more time and jump straight into these patch notes, because as you can see, there are a lot of new and improved things, but there are also so many bug fixes, and I want to get to every single one of them. So we should not be wasting time yapping. We just need to get straight into these notes. And if you are looking for this article in particular, it is just on the EA website under the Sims 4 news category, and it is called Planting Seeds of Enchantment. And like I said, it came out July 1st, 2025, if you want to confirm that you are looking at the right article. But it says, "So Summers, how's it growing?" Today's updates prepares for July 10th's launch of the upcoming expansion pack, Enchanted by Nature, and includes several new features that will raise the roof. And finally, round out our notes with bug fixes and improvements to help your Sims playing experience. And then just says thanks for your efforts, and if you want to report anything, go to the EA forums, same thing we always get. But what is new in the Sims 4 base game update? Sims inventory improvement. Do your Sims have a lot of stuff in their inventory? We've made life a little easier with some usability improvements. So you have a new way to sort. Apparently you can sort by new filters that are price, filter, crafted quality, rarity. And this isn't just the items in your inventory. It also includes fridges, bookcases, and other storage objects. And speaking of refrigerators, it looks like we also have a new way to sort out spoiled food. So apparently, by looking at this picture, I don't know if I have any current save files with spoiled food. I'm typically really good about clearing out spoiled food, but basically it was always kind of hard to tell if you had spoiled food in your inventory, and more specifically what was spoiled, because you could see the stink rays coming from the fridge, but they weren't very noticeable, so you typically didn't notice until you clicked on the fridge and it said clean out spoiled food. But then if you open your inventory like this, you would have to hover over which one was which to figure out what was spoiled. And if you have 20 things in your refrigerator, if you're playing a 100 baby challenge, that gets really annoying real fast. So now they've made it where all the spoiled food will combine together and it'll come up with this little icon. So you can easily identify what is spoiled and throw it out if you want to, which is pretty handy, honestly. And apparently it works like all the other items. You can move them as a stack or individually. So that's actually pretty cool. So let me actually jump into my game. I want to look at the new way to sort in general, but I don't know if I have any spoiled food in my inventory, but I'm going to at least show you guys the new filters and whatnot, because I'm very curious about this as well. Okay, so to show this off in more detail, I have actually pulled up my short legacy challenge, because we're like at the end of Generation 7, beginning of Generation 8. So you know these Sims, especially the heir, has a good amount of stuff and a random amount of stuff in their inventory, because that's just kind of how legacy challenges end up once you're on Generation 8. But for example, our heir Lily here has so many different things in her inventory. I mean, we literally have like toys from her childhood, paintings from her childhood. We have harvestables like roses and snapdragons. We have like horse competition trophies. We have picnic baskets. We have child's handprints. We just have an assortment of random things in her inventory. And there is like no organization to it whatsoever by default. But now we can sort, and it says either we can choose the newest item, which I guess is the default thing, which honestly, this item is way older than this item, so I don't know how accurate that is. But you can also apparently sort it by name, which is actually really handy if you're looking to do alphabetical order, because I don't feel like this game has enough alphabetical order, just saying. Also, we can filter it by price, and it looks like it looks like almost the cheaper stuff is on the bottom and the most expensive stuff is on the top. I actually didn't expect that. I was expecting the cheaper stuff to be on the top. It also just says filter. So I guess if you don't want a specific filter, you can just click filter and it'll just organize it by what it is. Because it looks like it grouped all the plants together. It grouped the handprints together. It grouped the trophies together. So that's actually handy that it can just filter by what the category is. You can also apparently sort by the crafted quality. You can sort by garden quality. And you can sort by freshness. Which I don't know how they decide that a trophy is fresher than an apple. Or a book is fresher than a dragon fruit. But, you know, it's there if you want to use it. So that's kind of like the whole organization system with this. As you can see, it also applies to all ages. We can do the same thing with the child's inventory. We can like filter it, and it puts all her crafts together, all her toys together, her school project. So that's actually really handy. I think I like the filter, just the regular filter by itself that just groups like objects together. I personally think that's probably the best option, but that's just my personal opinion. And before you say anything, I did check the refrigerator, and unfortunately there was no spoiled food, so I couldn't show off what was being shown in this picture. But just know, if you go into the fridge, the bookshelf, your Sims inventory, it's all organized just the same way. It's just with refrigerators, you can now see what is spoiled, and it groups the spoiled items together, and it just shows this little icon here in this picture. But now the next couple of things I want to go over before I jump into game and show them, because I want to show off the next two things together at the same time in game. But the first one of those things is the notebook update. So if you have been using the notebook in your Sims game, which, to be fair, I don't use the notebook a lot. Like, the main save file I'm using the notebook in right now is probably the one where I'm playing through the detective career. But that's not really for, like, collections, like the notebook showing here. Like, basically it's showing that you can now choose which notebook page you want to go to. And basically the notebook kind of just like keeps notes of the stuff your Sims have collected or harvested or whatnot. And basically here, as you can see, you can go to click on the gardening tabs and pulls you to the gardening page. And this looks totally different. Used to, the notebook was a different shape. It didn't have this big icon here showing you what category. The list was looking a little bit different. This is way better. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's definitely different. And here you can click on the item. You can read the description, see how much it's worth, yada, yada, yada. But pretty much they said there's a new layout and that enjoys spaciousness. The category page enhances discovery badges. You can keep track of new discovery badges on unseen items in your collections. If a discovery is added, a badge will highlight those categories. And then there's apparently now a back button. So we have this back button now. That's new. Direct access button. So I think that's what they're talking about here, or where you can just click on it like that. And then finally, console updates. Enjoy improving scrolling with the right analog stick for console users. So apparently if you have console, there's just an easier way to scroll now. And then the other thing that I want to show you that is kind of similar is the new way that they are organizing household collections. So basically, if you didn't know, there's a bunch of collections you can do in the game, depending on what packs you have, depend on what collections you can unlock. For example, there was for base game, there's like a frog collection, but with like the holiday event, we had the wreath collection. So it also shows like the holiday events, with the freezer bonies and whatnot. We have like the plant seed collection. We have a fishing collection. Yeah, all the collections you can think of in a game now look like this, where before it was way less organized than this. I don't know how to describe it, but you definitely, pretty much it was like just a whole list you could scroll through and open each tab, and then when you open the tab, they would show you what you had and a blacked out version of what you didn't have. And now it looks like it's way more easier to choose which category you want to choose, because you don't have to scroll through a whole list. I mean, this is a list you have to scroll through, but it's not like an individual every one line. It's like 4 per line. I don't know. It looks a lot neater is pretty much what I'm trying to say. But it says, now it's even easier to see all the things in your Sims inventory is that they have collected. The Sims inventory button animates when a new collection item is found. Once open, the diamond icon on the right glows green to notify you, which is really helpful because I have a lot of time I will have a hard time finding the collections page, so maybe this will help me. On the collections page, categories have a badge to show that they have new items. Oh, I didn't even notice that they have like a whole little bar. I guess it shows okay, that's cool. It actually shows how many you have right away. Collections have a new layout for easier viewing. A new drop-down menu lets you sort collections by completion progress or name. Within specific collections, you can filter by rarity, name, recent, bonus items, and missing. And collections can be accessed from both the Sims inventory and the notebook. Okay, that's even easier because now there's more than one way to access the category. That's actually really helpful. So I'm going to go into my game real quick. I'm going to show off both the notebook update and the household collection interface. Okay, so to show off these features, I've actually went ahead and pulled up my other legacy save file, which is my Rainbow legacy save file, which we're not near as far in, but I feel like this household definitely has more in the notebook and the collections tab. Starting with Blaze and his notebook, because Blaze is actually the sim I'm playing through the detective career in. Now, if you're looking for the notebook, it did used to be up here, but now it's down here by the phone. So you can click on the thing, and as you can see, it's completely different. It used to actually be like an up and down notebook. Now it's like a side to side. And as you can see here, we have his tabs. Now, depending on the sim, will depend on the tab. It's not going to show every tab for every sim if you don't have anything in that tab. So, like, for him and most people, you have, like, the fishing tab because most sims go fishing at some point. But for him specifically, he has, like, the detective career because he plays the detective career where, like, his sister wouldn't have the detective career because, you know, she's never played the detective career. So it's just, like, a more organized and definitely more clear layout. I think the list is definitely a lot clearer, and I just think it's really handy. And this is also one of the ways you can get to the collection. So you can click here and you can see his household collections. And I like the fact you can see all the different collections you can and really have. I'm not sure if it's every single, I'm assuming it's every single one that I have in the game. But I actually wanted to go into his sister's collection one because she has more collectibles than he does. Which the other way you can get to the collectibles menu is through the inventory and click on this button. So, like with her, she's been collecting things since she was a kid. So she has, you know, my sim trophies that she's collected. She's collected semi capsules. And this is stuff that she's collected over time. I don't think this is necessarily stuff she has in her inventory. I think it's just stuff that has been collected over time. So I don't think you have to actually keep the items. Like, I think that used to be a thing in the past where the collection menu was kind of glitched to where if you deleted an item, it didn't count that you had collected it. But I think they fixed that. But as you can see here, like if I click on crystals, we can see all the crystals that she has collected. The other ones are still blacked out, but you can see what pack they come from, and you can filter them, like I said, by rarity. So, as you can see here, this one's our most common one, and the one we've collected that is the most uncommon one is this one. Obviously, we have ones that are way more rare, but that's just an example. You can organize them by name, which I think is super handy, by recent, by bonus item. So if you didn't know, a lot of the collections, depending on what pack you have, will have like bonus collectibles you can collect. Like if you have Jungle Adventure, you can get these 2 extra ones. So those kind of just bring all the bonus items to the top. And you can also filter by what you're missing. So if you want to put all the ones you already have together at the end, you can filter by missing. I just think that's really handy. I love any more ways that it gives us to organize the things. Now, obviously, depending on what packs you have, depend on what collections you will see pop up. But like, for example, some of these are like collections from back in the day, like the Sugar Skull Day of the Dead challenge. That has been years since the Day of the Dead challenge came out. Like years, like at least 5 or 6 years since that challenge has been out. But yet we still have it in our category, which I think is pretty cool. It is slightly sad because like the Freezer Bony was like a temporary event collection thing. So there's not really a way to go back and get those. So it's a little mixed emotion. I like the fact that we can see pretty much any collection that's ever been, depending on the pack you have. But the ones that were temporary that you can't get anymore, I feel like maybe shouldn't be up here unless you just collected those in this category. I don't know. Maybe if you missed the event and you weren't playing when the event was active, they don't show up. I don't know. I don't know exactly how that works, but it does work. So, that is the new collections. That is the new notebook. Now, everything else that is new is pretty much in build mode. So, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of time in these big patches before the big expansion packs, we tend to get new build features into the base game. So, think like round walls and platforms and ladders and, conformable stairs and glass roofs And in this one, we are getting 2 new big build features that I am excited about, both of them very much. They're both things that I've wanted for a very long time. And that is official glass walls, not just windows you can fill the wall with, but actual glass walls, just like the glass roofs, and plants on the roof. So both of these are very exciting to me, because with glass walls, like, we got glass roofs like a couple of years ago in a patch update, and I was really hoping ever since we would get glass walls, because the only way to really do glass walls at the moment is to get full length wall windows and place them all around the walls, which 1 is expensive, 2 is annoying, and 3, you can't put glass on this part. You can put like little windows on this part, but you can't make it full on glass like this. And it's really annoying with the windows, because you can obviously, there's like frames around each window, and this, just by the picture, looks so much more seamless. So as from what I can tell, it's a pattern. It's not like a new wall build feature where you can specifically build a glass wall. It works like the glass roofs, to where there's different swatches, and depending on the swatch you put on will depend on the glass you use. And I'm assuming they match the roofs. Just, that's what would be my assumption. But the biggest feature here is the fact you can now make the parts of the roof, not just the top of the roof, but like the sides of the roof, glass as well, because those technically count as walls, which is just really exciting. Obviously, it can be used for greenhouses, but there's so much more that glass walls and glass roofs can be used for. And things like infinity pools, and like walls into like, I keep thinking pools here, but I like to like have like an exposed wall like into the pool from the basement. This would be really good for that. There's just a lot of things glass walls would be good for. A glass room of punishment, if you've seen Coffee's Disney Princess challenges, but that was a long time ago, so you may not have. But then the other thing we're getting is the plants on the roof. Now, in the past, you could like cheat and lift plants onto roofs, but if they weren't flat roofs, it looked really weird. And sometimes even when they were flat roofs, it looked really weird. So apparently now you can take almost not, I'm not thinking it's every plant, but pretty much any outdoor plant that you could possibly think of, almost, you can now fit on a roof. And apparently, from what they're showing on the picture, it looks like they slot to the roof no matter the angle, which is really handy, because before you could just lift them and sheet it there, but if it wasn't flat, it was gonna glitch. And it looks like with this, they count as roof sculptures, so they fit the slant of the roof, which I think is really big and is the perfect time to be putting it in. Like, if we're getting fairies and like very like planty, whimsical, enchanted vibes, then plants on the roof is very much a must. Alright, so just to show off these new build features, I've pulled this up on a blank lot in Newcrest, and let's start with the glass walls. So when we go to glass roofs, which, like I stated earlier, the glass roofs are just like roof swatches, so I'm pretty sure the glass walls will just be wall paper swatches. But when we pull up the roofs in base game, we have 6 base game glass roofs. So I'm assuming we would have 6 wall ones. Yeah, we have 6. They kind of look blue, which is interesting compared to the color that they are on the roof patterns. Like, they're a bit more gray, but they look to be like a match. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw just, might help if I do a square. Okay, I'm just going to draw 6 rooms here that can have 6 different roofs and wall patterns, and then we can see how well they really go together. Let's see. That's 6. Okay. Now the question is if I should separate. Maybe I should have separated them a little bit so they're a little bit more spread out. But let me just do this real quick. I guess they don't have to be right next. Well, it's gonna bother me if they're not right next to each other, isn't it? Oh, that's annoying. I hate having OCD sometimes. It is literally an enemy. Like, it's helpful sometimes, but it can be an enemy. Okay. But anyways, if we were to put roofs, and it doesn't matter the roof, but typically I go with these roofs to show this off. So we can literally just put multiple of these roofs on. And I'm going to put a glass roof texture on each one of them and then match the wallpaper to it so we can see how it looks together. And honestly, since the walls are the main feature, not the roofs, I think I'm going to shrink the size of the roof. But as you can see here, we have the regular roofs, and then you go into the roof patterns, and you have the square. Okay, I'm going to turn off the grid so you can see better. The square pattern glass roofs. We have a, more small square. These are more rectangles. These are squares. We have a honeycomb glass roof. We have just a plain glass roof that is just full on glass. We have the fancy looking pattern glass roof, which I always find really pretty but hard to use. And then we have the diamonds. And then, like I said, each one of these has a matching wall pattern. So they're not in the exact same order, which is a little annoying. But from what I can tell, this is the... Okay, let's also just do a full-on glass room. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That is so much easier than placing windows on every single wall. And you can paint this. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Hold on. Let's bring this roof in so it really gets the effect of the glass box. I'm obsessed with this. And they showed in pictures that you can still put stuff on this. So with windows, you couldn't really place things on the glass very well without sheets. With this, you're apparently able to easily, if we went to, let's just say a curtain, because that makes sense with a glass roof or wall. Oh, yeah, it filters over it just fine. Just fine. That is actually fantastic. If I could find an appropriate wall height one. Oh, I like that. And then you can also still do, posters and stuff on top of them. It doesn't clip. Love it. Absolutely love it. But let's actually show off all the designs, because I kind of just, jumped into that part. Okay, so that was the bigger squares. So I'm assuming these are the... Wait, what are the difference between these two? Wait, what? Wait, that's solid glass. There's that. Okay, I guess these are a bit wider and these are a bit skinnier. So these are wider that kind of fit the big windows that are 2-tile. And then this one specifically is a 1-tiler, which is interesting. All right. And also, this is going to bug me that all of these are not the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and do them now. Okay. So let's scooch you in. And then, so that glass goes with that one. And also, it looks like they have different colors, which is interesting. I wasn't actually expecting that. So we have our bluish gray. That's default. We have a more brownish purple swatch. We have a plain gray swatch, and this looks like to be a gray swatch with black metal, which is interesting. I guess it's the metal and the glass changing. I thought it was just the glass, but it's also the metal. And I didn't does the glass roofs have the same colors? Because I never noticed. Okay, the glass roofs do have the same colors. Huh. I just never noticed the glass roofs have different color swatches, honestly. That's a little embarrassing on my part, I guess. All right. But then we also have the honeycomb to match the honeycomb roof. We have the plain glass, which I am super excited about because this is just seamless glass, which I think is going to come in so handy for things like I was talking, like the basement walls into the pool and whatnot. This is going to look so, like, imagine this as an infinity pool. Wait, actually, I'm curious. Can you build an infinity pool? Okay, hold on. Before I get too far ahead of myself, let me just look at, ooh. The last two are my favorite. No, the last two are my favorite. Look at that one with the fanciness of it. That is perfect for fairy greenhouses. And I've always been obsessed with the diamond pattern. So that's really exciting. But what I was thinking was, like, if you built, because you can build basically a room. Again, it would help if I turn on the square. But you can build a room. And typically you put pools in the ground. But this is just going to be easier to show off if I do it above ground. But if you put like a pool. And say you took up the whole pool. Then you could use this glass wall. Oh my god. That is amazing. You could literally make like a fish tank. You could make a fish tank. I wonder how it looks on round walls. Hold on. I'm getting way too excited about this. Hold on. Just let me put a round room together real fast. Let's see. We can perhaps... Oh, wait. Is it going to... Did I leave myself enough room? Oh, not if I put it on the wrong level. Okay. All right. But let's make a round... Oh, why do I always like want to copy it, and when I want to move it, I tend to copy it. See, like that. I just try to move it when I need to copy it. Okay, but if we do this and put this here, oh well, I didn't line that up quite correctly, but you kind of get my point. The round room. There is a round room, and then we can put this. Oh my god, you can literally make a fishbowl. That is so cool. Now, I will say with the rounded walls, the glass is a bit more glitchy visually, but it is cool. I like it. And then the other thing was the plants on the roof. Now, maybe I should draw a separate building for this so we can see what they look like on a regular roof, not just a glass roof. But basically, as you can see here, we can build a room. Let's build this type of roof for this, because I know from the picture that they stick to this roof well, but I'm curious about other roof textures. Actually, maybe let's test it on this roof. We can put it on the glass roofs to test this type of roof. And then maybe we can, I almost just, as bad as this sounds, I'm just going to like copy a part of a round roof piece and then put a round roof on it. Because I'm curious to how they will stick on the round roofs as well, especially if they're curved. Okay, so let's test this out. So apparently we should be able to go into roof sculpture. Oh, yes, they have all the plants. Now, they do put the plants ahead of the chimneys. I think they should put the chimneys first. Like the roof accessories, I feel like should come first because you can also access the plants in the plant category. And I think from what it said, yeah, you can hover over, and if you look in the information, it says whether it's roof placeable or not. These also apply to pack plants. So some of the ones from, the vampire pack and the camping pack all are roof accessible. But like this green fern here does not say it's roof accessible. So you probably can't put like this cow or something like that on the roof, unfortunately. Yeah, you can't put that. But you can, as I said, put stuff like this in its slots. Okay, but I think I'm going to just go with the roof sculpture specifically because that shows all the ones that we can specifically put up here. And honestly, they gave us more variety than I was expecting. Like, look at the island living one. Okay, this doesn't want to clip as nice as or slot as nice as I thought it would. I also don't have move objects on. Do I have to have move objects on, or is it just the fact that the roof isn't wide enough? Hold on, let me try with a smaller plant. Okay, so the roof has to be big enough or it's not going to slot. Like, if you try to put this big one from the Island Living pack, it doesn't slot because the roof's not big enough. But if I make the roof bigger, let's see, move it here, now it fits. Okay, so you do have to be wary of sizing, but they do slot. How about if it's on a curb? Let's see, because we can curve roofs. So if we could do that. Oh, I think my plant just straight up disappeared. I think it just straight up just deleted itself. Okay, that's a little inconvenient. Yeah, it doesn't want to place on the curve. What about the smaller ones? Okay, the smaller ones place on the curve. So I guess it really depends on the size and the curvature of the roof, which I was not expecting the curvature to have to affect. What if it was shrunken in? Like, what about that? Oh, that's even harder to fit. Like, the small ones don't even want to fit as well on this one. Okay, so curves are a little glitchy. Just a little. Let's see, how is it? Yeah, so as you can see, like, on a round roof, automatically it clips, like, straight in there. Like, it doesn't show very well unless we, like, oh, see, even when we scoot it in like that, it just makes the plant disappear. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, it is cool. It just doesn't work as well as I wanted it to, unfortunately. But I will show off all the plants that fit on the roof. So, obviously, you can layer them together and put whatever plants you want. So, we have this bush, which I was not expecting brown bushes to fit on the roof, but I'm actually kind of excited about it. All right, but I'm not going to go through every color swatch because these are just plants we already had in the game. They're not new plants, but I will go ahead and place all of them so you can see how they look on the roof. As many of them as I can fit. I might have to make a bigger roof piece for this. Oh, okay, the plants don't move with the roof. That is a little unfortunate. Okay, maybe I'll extend it out this way. Okay, well, that's sad. That's a little sad. Okay, but we can place this. Oh, I already placed that, actually. I was wondering why it looked familiar. Okay, let's see. I like the fact that even the flat ones fit really well. I feel like you could, with these flat pieces, especially the ones that go together like this, easily cover like a whole section of roof. Like, you can put, okay, well, I'm not going to do this to where I have to figure it out, but like, look at this. We can put all these around and like group them together. I wonder if you can size them up. Oh yeah, you can size them up and really cover the roof. Now, obviously when you do that, it does stick off the roof a little bit more than the smaller pieces, but it still works sized up, which is really cool. So we have these pieces that all kind of go together, talking about like these pieces go together, these pieces go together, just all the different pieces. Oh, and they even have ones. I also don't use the flat plants very often, like the flat flowers, because on the ground it's almost kind of pointless. But now that they're on the roof, I feel like I'm going to use them so much more, especially if I'm going to do like a grassy roof. Like, imagine, okay, I know we have more plants to go through, but just imagine like the grass roof from Eco Living with the plants on top. Perfect, like Hobbit vibes. But we also have plants from other packs. So we have like the vampire plants here. Oh, I love the roots on the roof. That is really cool. That's going to make some really cool builds. We have another one of these plants like that are in base game, but it just comes in a different pack. We have some wildflowers you can put on the roof, which is pretty cool, honestly. We have another bush. We have another pointy plant. We have some of the plants from the camping pack, but they seem to not want to fit on this roof very well. What if we put like a flat roof? Hold on, let me put a flat roof somewhere just to see. So I know this is a rounded part and we're putting a flat straight roof on it, but just bear with me a minute. Okay, so the plants that don't fit well on the edge, like when they're pointed up like this, do fit fine on flat roof pieces. So I guess the flatter the roof, the safer the bed is, depending on the plant. But I wish they would have made it where all the plants wouldn't clip, no matter which pack it was. But I guess beggars can't be choosers. The fact we can just have plants on the roof now is honestly pretty cool by itself. But here are some of those plants that don't really fit on the sideways roof well. But then we also have some more bushes from base game and some other stuff from a couple other packs. So let's put this. Oh, I love the fact that this bush can be put on the roof. That's going to be fun to line up like edges of the roof with. We have some more wildflowers, some bushes, some more bushes from the camping pack. I'm running out of roof space. I genuinely did not think I would run out of roof space. Okay. We have the regular bushes. This one looks kind of funny on it, but I could feel like you could make like candy houses, like gingerbread houses with these, like as pretending like gumdrops or something. I don't know. That's just like the first thing I thought of. We have some more of those flat flowers here. We have a big bush from the Jungle Adventure pack, which is pretty fun. It's not fitting on this roof, but I can fit it not on this roof. I can fit it on this roof, though. Well, I'm running out of roof space, you guys. Okay, well, you can see this plant is able to go on the roof, just not well because it's big. This one can fit a little bit better because it's not... Okay, it does look like you can somewhat overlap the plants. I'm sure if I had turned move objects on, this would also be easier, but I want to test it without move objects on. Oh my god, this is a huge one. Wait, no, we're going to have another roof. Oh my goodness. Okay, copy this roof and just place it somewhere here. We can just like, make a roof on the ground. It's fine. It's fine. We can also make it a little bit flatter to show off the pieces that don't want to fit on the super roofs. Okay, but we have this plant that fits on the roof. Yeah, big plant. This plant. We have the big flat plant, which none of my roofs are big enough for. I keep trying to make the roofs like a little bit, smaller and flatter, but they don't want to fit the super big plants on them when they do that. I guess I could probably turn move objects on, but I really want this to work without move objects. Okay, move objects on. Let's see if that helps. Oh, that doesn't even help. Oh, that's weird. I guess the roof just literally has to be big enough. Like, you can't even sheet it. This should be big. How is this not big enough? Sir, how is this not big enough? How? Like, I've never had a problem where something in The Sims was not big enough. Okay. Well, if you want to use the one from Jungle Adventure, you have to have a big ass roof. Alright, but all the plants that are the grass growing off the roofs could be really cool for Indian type naturey builds almost. We already saw this piece, but I'll put it again. And we have the island living plants as well. Ooh, this purple. Okay, the purple plant on the roofs is kind of everything. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of everything. Okay, well, I am really happy with the build mode stuff. Just this alone, I think is worth the patch update. I am very happy with this. But next, we have bug fixes. Okay, so everything else that they are showing on this article is bug fixes. So most of the time, I don't go into the game to show these things off because a lot of times they're just, like I said, bug fixes. But if it's anything like super new or something I feel like should be shown off specifically, I will go back into my game. But as far as bug fixes go, we have top fixes, we have stuff for live mode, we have stuff for console, build mode, create a sim, and just different expansion packs in general. And as you can see, there's a lot to go over. So let's go ahead and start reading, starting off with what is the top fixes. So rain, go away, come again another day, just not inside. Rain and snow now stay out of enclosed room, which has been a huge problem that simmers have been having. So glad to see that fix. The eyedropper tool was grumpy about some items. We put them into proper categories. So now the eyedropper is much happier. So that was a problem I was having in build mode recently. So glad that's fixed. And townies will now have more diversity in their names. So apparently it was like a glitch that most of the townies that were spawning randomly in the world were coming up with like Asian and Japanese culture names. And apparently they've made it to where the townies now have more diversity in their names, which I, as a dumb American who has trouble with unique names, not that there's anything wrong with unique names, I think they're beautiful, it's just trying to figure out how they're pronounced is a struggle for me sometimes. So as a dumb American, I actually kind of appreciate this. But then we have live mode. Unfortunately, they didn't do the for rent glitch. I don't know. I was really hoping that would be fixed, but I've also been hoping that for the last couple of patches. All right. But for live mode, there are several. So children no longer become silly strut sims when picking up a violin. So basically, the creepypasta glitch. Well, one of the creepypasta glitches. The top secret recipe for Fear Be Gone potion has been altered to include so it properly cures a sim from fear of the dark. Fear of the dark has just been broken ever since fears have come out in general. The game description of Business Chic Refined Living Room Kit and Home Chef Hustle Kit in the main menu have now consistent headers. So apparently they edit some descriptions. Mature plants no longer are transparent in laptop mode. Your garden will look lush if you continue to keep care of it, of course. Didn't know that was a problem. And I play on a laptop. Sims' eyes close better in more forms of sleeping. So basically them keeping their eyes open and cuddling is probably not going to happen anymore. No longer shall false rumors of friendship and romance haunt your neighborhood story updates. Nay, they now will be nothing but true. Okay, so apparently they were lying to us about the different friendship and romance rumors. Sims can now plant off-lot planters in Hinford Bagley, Chestnut Ridge, and Moonwood Mill. So I guess you couldn't do those in that world for some reason. Well, I guess it makes sense with the new indoor planters coming in the pack that they would update this. Who doesn't love a fabulous decorated space? In your Sims surrounded by top-notch decor, they will now be able to enjoy related moodlets. Okay, that was actually something I didn't know was not on purpose. Pretty much, depending on the sim, the sim would find the decor boring, And if they found the decor boring, it put them in a bad mood. But you would like decorate the house so nice, and it'd be like this amazingly nice house with all this expensive furniture, and they would still find the decor boring. So I'm glad that's kind of fixed, because that was really annoying to have. I most of them just deleted that moodlet, honestly. But now it says, no more getting lost in the snow. The go home interaction now stays in the queue, even when your sim is busy with snow activities. I don't play with snow very often, so I guess that's why I didn't notice that. Interactions for locking computers, mopping puddles, and autonomously leaving lots are now more performant. Yeah, I guess locking the computers hasn't ever really worked that well. The notebook highlight now appears only for the sim with the relevant notebook content, even after switching households. I guess since they made the big update to the notebook, they had to update that. Selfies using the take photo with interaction can now include Flower Bunny, Yamachan, Bonehilda, Alice, Edith, Trashly Real Person, Sammy, Mysterious Rancher, Horse Trainers, Clones, and various Batu Sims. I didn't realize that you couldn't take pictures with that many people. I guess it makes sense, because I've never been able to take a picture of Bonehilda. I just didn't really thought about it because she's a skeleton. But I guess it makes sense. I also like the fact that they're including some of the ghosts. You can take pictures with the ghosts now. That's pretty cool. But now with grafting now uses one shoot per plant, so your inventory of shoots won't vanish faster than the garden's afternoon tea. Enjoy your extra shoots of gardening adventures. I don't graft very much, but the few times I have tried to graft, I noticed that was a glitch. And then it says, purchase seeds remain available for all garden surfaces, even when your sim gets green thumb hits level 7. Keep gardening spree going. So, a lot of gardening fixes. Ghost and vampire parents now call to express their disappointment when your friend is caught cheating. Your sim is caught cheating on university homework even during the day. No supernatural loopholes for academic mischief. Well, honestly, I didn't even know the parents called to disappoint, because I've never cheated on my university homework, so didn't know that was a thing. Even the most erythral little ones can now be selected to be put to bed, ensuring the ghosts are snuggle tucked in for the night. So apparently you couldn't tuck ghost children into the bed before, which is a little sad. Then the occult plumbob now appears for infant, toddler, and child vampire, merfolk, and spellcasters, ensuring that even the youngest occult display their unique status. That is actually so helpful, and I wish I had that in the 100 baby challenge, because when I was doing like baby challenges in the past, a lot of times with baby challenges, if your sim is an occult type, like your baby turns out to be an occult type, they count as 2 babies, especially in like the 100 babies challenge specifically. So when I was doing the 100 baby challenge, I would always be like, I don't know if this sim's an occult yet, and we'd have to wait until they aged into like a toddler, because we didn't have infants at the time. So I have to like wait till they aged into a toddler, go into create a sim, and then see if they were an occult. And apparently now you can just tell from their plumb bob. So that is so much more useful, honestly. And then cats and dogs no longer have turn-ons and turn-offs. That's a weird thing they had. Adventurous gnomes and high rider gnomes now display halos and flame effects correctly, because we're getting a bunch of gnome updates in this pack apparently. Sparks are flying. Sims can now enjoy intimate interactions in the hot tub. I didn't know that was broken. That's my favorite woohoo, and I've never had a problem with it, but okay. And then Patchy the Scarecrow is now off the market for crate a day. Aww. No, I actually liked the fact you could flirt with Patchy. That actually kind of makes me sad. I'm not happy about that one. But as far as console goes, we have 3 that are specifically for console. So when selecting a sim for travel, the right trigger and right to, I'm sorry, I suck at the console button names, but are now correctly confirm your selection, aligning with the controller legend's instructions. Controllers now can navigate through all sections of live mode interfaces and game options without skipping any sections, and toddlers no longer can access the reward store. Toddlers will stay focused on playtime, not shopping. So that is just for console. And then we're going back to for everyone. So in build mode, the happy birthday double front door is now a little taller. I automatically read that as happy birthday. That may not be happy birthday. The HBD double front door is a little taller to be on par with the medium height doors, which honestly, it's just something that is wrong in build mode in general. The classic OG ceiling paint now has a name. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. Classic matte concrete. Ta-da! Really? They're just now naming that? That's kind of funny. Okay. And then it says, did you know aloe vera plants were hiding in build mode? It now has a category so you can find it. Okay. Well, didn't know that was a problem. And then with Kratos Sim, the Reaper Rewards buckled boots now fit better to have the zips that look great from every angle. And then the adorable fuzzy bear slippers from the Cozy Celebrations event are now fixed for female Sims. Enjoy cozy feet without dispersion, no more duplicate pairs. That was something I noticed, that we got 2 versions of the slippers, which was really weird. A handful of missing feminine choice clothes are now available for masculine frame Sims. The missing texture on the hoodie for a female has been restored, and clipping and missing textures for certain clothes that are shirts have been addressed. So that's everything that is base game, or they say is base game. I guess it has to do everything that has to do with base game, but some of those were very much pack related. So I don't understand why they put like pack related ones not in the expansion pack ones, but I honestly have never understood how they organize these patch notes. I just go along with it. But when it comes to expansion packs, we have several different packs getting fixed. Some with more fixes than others, but still a lot of fixes. So the first one we are looking at is Get to Work. I guess we're going from oldest to youngest. Who knows? Because Get to Work is the oldest. But it says, retail workers have agreed to show up for work and open the store properly, even if the owned business is not yet owned by the player household. So I guess that fixes to where like you would try to go to a lot and you couldn't because it wasn't owned. So that's helpful. And then it says, wanna make an... I totally thought at first it said, wanna make out. Now, want to make an out-of-this-world alien nursery? The Nano Boo Boo basket is now available in build mode. Oh, okay, so I did notice that when I went into build mode that the bassinet was now, like, filtered as new. And I was wondering, because I was like, that's not new. That's one of the oldest packs, but apparently it just wasn't available in build mode beforehand. Didn't realize that. Okay. And then the socks are now tagged as sleepwear, so they'll fit in all of the other children's socks that are also sleepwear. So that's Get to Work. And then we have seasons. So we have 2 for seasons. So as a note above, rain and snow now stay out of enclosed rooms. And then, what a solstice. On holidays, Sims now get a reminder to wait or select a later time for a new event when there's already an event in place. They can enjoy an event without double booking. Okay, so that's handy, because that would obviously break your game if you double booked. And then with Get Famous, which is my least favorite pack that I own, fashion can be anything, but some Sims are taking it too far. Sims in the style influence career now wear more appropriate accessories to work. This is partial fix of the larger issue of Sims having questionable fashion choices in various situations. More to come. Okay, so they're actually working on just like the random outfits in general, which I think is really nice, because some of these randomized outfits are weird. But then we also have add the missing swatches for 2 of the acting career hairstyles. That's not good that we are missing swatches for that long. Okay. And then calls about celebrity feuds now come to appropriate sources, and actor Sims will now complete their auditions without any issues, ensuring gigs are marked as finished. No more dramatic exits. So I guess they were like walking out on their auditions. That's a little weird. All right. But we do have one for Island Living. Unfortunately, nothing to do with mermaids. But we got 2 missing / hidden variants of the masculine and feminine versions of the lifeguard swimsuit. With Discover University, the game was a little too excited for School Spirit Day and really wanted to make sure it knew it was happening. We asked it to chill out and just remind you once. Okay, well, just the Spirit Days and the school events in both high school years and Discover University are so broken in general, but it's an improvement. And then it says, Sims no longer get stuck in an infinite loop of packing up to move out of the dorm. Nightmare averted. That would have been annoying. Okay, and then for Eco Lifestyle, we have 1. It says, children no longer pull out the tablet and stretch awkwardly for civic duties. They've traded their stretch routines for playtime and homework instead. Snowy Escape, we have found the Showberry. The Comare Shoeberry is now available in regular build mode and no longer solvates to exist in the wedding venue category only. Okay. And then College Living has a lot. College Living and high school years both have a lot, actually. Well, I say a lot, and then they have, like, this one has 4, and this one, well, high school years has more. The College Living one is just long. So it looks like Agatha and Agnes Krumpelbaum can no longer marry into a household. I guess that's because Agnes and Agatha are, like, characters in The Sims that never die, kind of like the Grim Reaper. So if you were to marry them into your household, the game has to spawn new versions of them, and that can be glitchy. So I can understand that. Chickens, cows, and llamas no longer age up and eventually die when animal aging is disabled in the game setting. You know, I thought that was on purpose. I thought that it was just where, like, the animals wouldn't die if they were, like, cats and dogs and horses. But apparently they have that on all animals now, which I'm really happy about. And then set 12 of Garden Party something wallpaper is now distinct for set 9. Okay. Apparently something to do with the wallpaper is fixed. The child's frilly blouse with a bow no longer appears in the masculine choice category. Well, that's a little rude, but I understand. And then fashion emergency averted. The solid black variant of the pants will now fit better around the waist so they don't become high-waisted. All right. So for high school years, we have a good amount. Oh, starting with prom. Oh, this is a big one, actually. Prom now shows on the calendar for teens. Even if their birthday was before prom, you can choose whether to delay their birthday for that once-in-a-lifetime prom. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. Okay. Well, now we can see prom on the calendar, which I always kind of wondered why prom didn't have a show on the calendar. Like, I knew we were having problems with prom to where, like, if the principal died, prom just didn't work, and they did fix that, but they never put it on the calendar, and now it's on the calendar. So that's appropriate. And then it says, also, the prom event will now properly appear on the calendar, and the teen sim can attend. What's the difference between showing on the calendar for teens and showing on... Okay, whatever. But apparently now all your teen sims can attend, which I thought they already fixed that, but okay. Class is back in session. High school goals now show with active career format. Students can now focus on class, exam, and activities without cancellation or errors. So that's good. Graduation events now appear in the graduated sim calendar after switching to build mode and manage worlds. They have no excuse to miss it now. So apparently they're adding graduation and prom into the calendar, which we're both missing, so that's really helpful. Sims who travel will no longer fail to gain followers on Social Bunny. That's really annoying. That was a problem, not that they fixed it. Sims who travel... sorry, wrong one. Sims were feeling a little too intimidated by the photo booths and were taking pictures significantly while on dates. But that is not a problem anymore. Take the photo with on a photo booth now functions while on a date and also while not. And then Sims can also ride together on peer attractions while on a date, which should have never been broken in the first place, but okay. And then I wonder if that means that the woohoo is a little bit more functional now. But then it says high school years hats now are in their proper hat subcategory. Silly hats. Okay. And then Growing Together has 3. So it says, we're all excited when an infant reaches a new milestone. However, we didn't need to be reminded over and over again infant milestones no longer are marked as new if a user wants to swatches to another sim and back. Okay. Fair. When carrying infants in the back carriers, Sims can now plant seeds without resetting. Honestly, just carrying infants in general needs to be fixed, not just that. And canceling the Making Friendship bracelet interaction now keeps Sims steady, no more unexpected resets. Alright, for Horse Ranch, we have 2. Hiring a ranch hand via the community board now highlights the hire a service interaction correctly. And the Horse Ranch expansion tooltip now correctly displays the game title on the store page. Alright. For rent, we actually have 6. So tenants can now pay rent after bills are delivered, which I thought they already fixed that. But as we know with these patches, sometimes things get fixed and then they get broken again and they have to fix them again. It's a whole thing. But the next one is Sims who live in a residential rental or own one as a landlord now have their household funds removed after they have transferred them from the business fund. Much to their in charge, I'm sure. Alright. Child hairstyle now has previous missing swatches. Save files with 15 or more rental units no longer are missing thumbnails. The fisherman's slat window tall now has a thumbnail that reflects its compatibility with medium and tall walls. And Moldy Demise was giving Sims a funky spring in their step, even in the afterlife. Ghosts who die from mold active smoothly go through 90 degrees stair landings. So they didn't fix the game corruption glitch with Fortnite, unfortunately, but they did fix those things, which I guess are nice, but not what I was hoping for. All right. Okay. Life and Death and Love Struck have a lot. I thought these had a lot. No, Love Struck and Life and Death have a lot. Okay, so with Love Struck, the fear of being alone was causing relationships to drop drastically unless your sim was meant to the other sim. So we had to sit down and inform the sims that this wasn't how healthy romance works, and the issue has been resolved. Romance satisfaction now appears properly in a sim's profile and previously blocks romantic interactions that are available, which might in fact improve the romantic satisfaction you can now view properly. Everyone wins. Oh, that is so fantastic that they're fixing that, because that was really annoying since Love Struck. Getting a degree at university now helps the romantic consultant career. Love that cross-pack compatibility. Ever want to dress up your date you meet on Cupid's Corner? Outfits changed in Create a Sim now appear in the Sims outfit menu. Dates just got a whole lot more stylish. So I guess if you go into Create a Sim and change their outfit with like a cheat or something, you can now like keep that outfit. I guess they were like not keeping the outfit. I don't know. The hairstyle has been placed in the hair category, making it easier to find than ever before. The Love Struck stockings are now available for everyday, formal, and of course, party outfits. As a current date or create a hangout event ends, changing venues is quicker. Events including the reward is now given properly, which one of the main features was supposed to be able to change locations with dates, so glad that's fixed. When children become teens, they develop their romance skill from the ground up. That is helpful, because that would be weird if children can build romance skill. The tempting sweetheart box no longer is available on locked computers. Unlock your device to enjoy shareable treats. Long wavy hair now contours better with torso, so Sims have a specifically perfect hair day. And the romance neck tattoo thumbnail create no longer zooms in when selecting different swatches on console. Honestly, just the neck tattoo in general just needs to be darker. I wish they would make it darker. Alright, but that is all for Love Struck, and now we have a bunch for Life and Death. So, console players using controllers now are able to select genetic options after rebirth. Making heirlooms interaction is now available for all occult sims on the active lot. Enjoy creating heirlooms with ease whenever your sim resides. I kind of wish they would make heirlooms less prominent. I kind of want to make it where I don't automatically click on it accidentally all the time, but that's maybe just a me problem. The Moon Rivalry Festival no longer appears empty interface in the upper left corner. You can now freely enjoy moon bathing, night swims, and fire dancing without distractions. The Ghost Mastery interface now opens reliability from all notifications. Ghosts can now be selected to be asked to be introduced to social infants to make supernatural meet and greets possible. I didn't realize you could introduce your infants to ghosts. We had to claim ghosts down or calm ghosts down a bit to soothe out the end of possess and transcend woohoo. So apparently they had to calm them down. That's kind of funny. Summoning Lady Raven Dancer Goth via her tarot deck no longer creates a new Lady Raven Dancer Goth each time. There is only one. There can only be one. I actually haven't played too much with the tarot deck cards, so I actually need to learn a little bit more about that. I actually been meaning to do that for a while now. It's just the sim I want to do that with hasn't got to that age yet. The moment of death and rebirth menus now resides appropriately with the game. When all your household sims go home, the Ravenwood from the festival or another neighborhood, the camera now goes home with them. That's just kind of a problem I've had in other things in general over the years. Goals in the I want to see get busy category now display correctly. The ghost toggle button in Create a Sim no longer flickers when hovering over a near edge of the ghost icon. The ghost abilities to repair and clean are now performant. And Sims viewing heirlooms to remember departed Sims are now performant. So I guess like your Sim just wasn't remembering the Sim that the heirloom was attached to, which is a little sad. Just a little. All right. Oh, okay. So we only have one more for expansion packs. Then we go into game packs. They actually broke it down into different types of packs. Wow. And then we have kits. Nothing for stuff packs. But we do have some for business and hobbies, and then several game packs and a couple of kits. So the last ones for business and hobbies, the cute little truck on top has received masculine and feminine fashion category tagging. Deleting walls or items on the ground floor at a home business no longer causes the game to become unresponsive. You can now modify your spaces without interruptions. The Nordhaben vendor stalls and craft stalls are now correctly categorized in build by mode. They no longer appear under life event activities. They're now under outdoor activities. So that's everything for the big like $40 expansion packs. Now we have the $20 game packs. So my favorite, vampires, which I don't understand how we're still having problems with, but we're also still having problems with Dino. So, you know. But it says, vampires won't lose their fangs in live mode if their dark form was selected in Create a Sim. Is a vampire really a vampire without their fangs? I mean, they can be, but no, they're not. Both ghosts and vampires can now hit the gym during the day and see mega gains. It didn't want to do it before. So I guess if you visit the gym with a ghost and a vampire, it just didn't affect them, which is a little annoying. We fixed a variety of issues where vampires without the sun-resistant perks weren't fully living their life during the day. Vampires may not show up in mirrors, but vampire teens now are able, when selecting a sim for slow dance together on a stereo. I don't see how the two have to do with each other, but okay. Okay. And then for Parenthood, the modern face value fridge is now available in teal. Okay, because I did notice beforehand that was a missing swatch. I didn't know why, but it's so weird they're fixing it after all this time. Okay, Strangerville's descriptions now spell everything correctly in Realm of Magic. Be on the lookout. The Night Wrath now spawns for spellcasters with the Cruise of the Night Wrath, and Alien Eyebrows no longer are available for child spellcasters. And then Dream Home Decorator, a pair of shorts are now appearing in the hot weather category. An interior designer career kilt now displays correctly in Create a Sim, showing the kilt instead of underwear. And then My Wedding Stories, the dashing leather shoes are now free from distortion. Step out in style. And then with werewolves, for the last game pack, it has 4. So the cute little toddler Wolfie onesie was too warm as hot weather outfit, so now no longer appears in this category. That's a little annoying. Okay, whatever. The patch punk style look now puts on proper pants. I guess that's like pre-made outfit or something. I don't know. Remove some piercing necklaces and socks for werewolves that weren't so flattering on them in beast form. I liked being able to put my piercings on my beast form though. And choosing a werewolf head shape is no longer resets the muzzle length. Okay. So the rest of them are just little kit fixes. So as far as kits, the pool size splash, the sandals can now be found under the shoe category. And Revere Retreat, the drink tray is now under the kitchen appliance category. In the Cozy Bistro, a number of items are in more logical categories. The Sweet Slumber Party, the appropriate shoes now appear in the masculine fashion category filter. As Secret Sanctuary, the dress, the red one that slits, that is amazing, now fits larger Sims even more better. And the Arcane tea tray is now a kitchen appliance as well. And then the very last one that they have on these patch notes is for business chic, and the sleek chic watch now appears in the masculine fashion category. So that is everything under these patch notes, but it kind of surprises me that there was nothing in Creative Sim, because there's so much stuff coming for Creative Sim in the pack. So are we not getting any of it for a free base game? Like, we're already not getting Plant Sims updated free in base game. No, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. Hold on. I'm going to go look around for a minute. So I did some digging, and unfortunately, the only article I could find on this was on a website that I've told you guys many a times I cannot stand. But it is the Sims Community Info website. It's not that it's a bad source or anything. There's just so many ads. It's stupid. But they posted an article that says, July 1st update, everything new and hidden from patch notes. So I don't know why the Sims team does this. I don't know if it's a lack of a communication on the Sims team part between who writes the article and who makes, or the team that works on the patch update. I don't know what it is, but they always forget things in the patch notes. And I tend to never know about it until afterwards, because it's always one or two things, right? No, they forgot everything in the Creative Sim, and just by this picture here and this list of categories, there are so many things in Creative Sim they did not list. There's new cast items, there stuff to do with ears and eyes and skin effects and body hair texture improvements. There are some stuff that they didn't mention that weren't Creative Sim related, but they didn't list any of the Creative Sim stuff, and there was so much. So we're going to go over those real quick, but first we're going to go over the couple of things that weren't Creative Sim related that they put here. They did talk about the Better Notebooks. They didn't specifically point out the personal bios, so now you can apparently write personal bios under your Sims names and photos, which is pretty cool. And then also, okay, this is going to be a lot up and down. I'm sorry about it. Some of the other things that weren't Creative Sim related were, let's see. I know no movement wasn't on there. Is garden additions on there? Apparently we can now fertilize and evolve all to make gardening a bit quicker. That wasn't listed. And then gnome movement. So we know we're getting a big update to gnomes with the pack, but apparently they can now move in just the base game, just gnomes that you buy in build mode category, not even the playable ones, have movements now, which creep me out. But here's what it looks like. Oops. Okay, no, I want to play the video. Okay, not open Twitter. Okay, but as you see, they have little jump around movements with little noises. It's cute but weird. But that's pretty much everything that they listed that wasn't in the patch notes that wasn't Creative Sim related. But as far as Creative Sim, we have non-occult eye colors, pointy ears, new Creative Sim items, new skin effect categories, new eyelashes and dirty fingernails, new or body hair textures improvements. And is there anything I'm missing? I think that's it. But I want to look at all that. Now, some of it I'm going to go into game and look at specifically the eye colors. But let's just see what they're talking about with the other stuff. So pointy ears, it looks like all Sims can now have pointy ears. Actually, that's huge. Okay, all Sims can now have occult eyes and pointy ears. So we're definitely going to check that out because that's something I've been complaining about forever in the game. Ooh, okay, we have a new bow. A new item has been added to this update. Check out below. Okay, is this just like a new hat? Wait, hold on. Is that a new... Okay, so we know that in the pack we're getting stuff like antlers and horns and flower crowns that are detached from hair. But I just kind of assumed they would all be under the hat category, which technically it is. But there's a new category under the hat category. So we're going to have to go check that out. I think the bow is probably the first item in there because the bow is definitely new. And then... new skin effect category. As predicted, we shall receive some skin effects shown off in Enchanted by Nature Creation trailer. So there's a new skin effect tab category. Okay, so we'll have to go check that out. That's under accessories, apparently. I would assumed it was going to be under body, but no, apparently it's under accessories. New eyelash colors and dirty fingernails. We will definitely check those out because this is actually really exciting. Like, apparently you can just put on like new color mascara now. And we have some new nail swatch or new nails that have new swatches that have like dirty swatches. And what are the body hair texture improvements? Is it just looks more natural, I guess, is what they're trying to go for. Which I will say the body hair did look pretty unnatural before. So I would say that's probably a good improvement. But that's kind of all that we're going to go over in the game. I did want to show off it actually in game because there are different eye colors and different ears to show off. And I really want to take a up close look at the eyelashes and the new skin effects. So let me jump back into my game real quick and we'll wrap up this video with these new features. Okay, so to show off the last couple of things that weren't listed in the patch notes that are in Create a Sim, I've went ahead and pulled off my most recent Sim self, and that includes my boyfriend's Sim self that I made of him. So we are going to use me and my boyfriend to show this stuff off, apparently. I was just going to go for my Sim self, but they were already uploaded together, so I figured we might as well use both. So the first thing I actually want to show off were the pointy ears. I know the eyes were actually the bigger feature, but I'm very curious about the ears because I myself have always wanted pointy ears. Like, there's a couple of body mods if I had the money I would do, and the very first one of them would be pointy ears. So let me give myself like an updo real quick just so I can see my ears a little bit better. I'm trying to find one that I would actually realistically wear. A lot of these updos I wouldn't, mainly because the bang is on the wrong side or they don't have a bang. Do I not have a hair that works in an updo for me? Like, I feel, do I not have a hair already in another category? I guess I could use this one from my activewear. Okay, let's put me in my activewear hair. All right, so let's go to ears. And oh my God, there's so many pointy ears. Okay, so something I've always complained about in random genetics, because I love a good random genetics challenge, is the lack of ears for a regular sim. So used to, before this update, these 3 ears were the only ears you could put on a sim without them being in a cult. But now we can put this ear, and 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 this ear, all without being in a cult. Now, obviously, you can drag and move these ears. These are just the presets, so you can move them and adjust them just like you could any other ear. But I am obsessed with the fact I can give myself pointy ears now, because I used to, like, my favorite thing at the Renaissance Festival growing up every year was to get my face painted and a new pair of fairy ears. And I actually just got a job at another Renaissance Festival, like a smaller Renaissance Festival, to play the fairy this fall. So the fact that the fairy pack is coming out and I can give myself pointy ears just makes me very excited for current events in my life. But yeah, I think I'm going to give myself some pointy ears just for this version of myself. I don't know if I'll actually keep this version of myself. But those are all the pointy ears. And then we have the eyes. So it used to be the same thing where eyes were sometimes tied to occults. So obviously we have like the base game eyes that have all the colors and whatnot. But then we have like alien eyes and vampire eyes and mermaid eyes. You know, just different occult eyes that were specifically for occults. Now we have in base game. So the only crazy one we really had in base game were these, and this was part of a reward event. So if you didn't get the Grim Reaper reward event, you didn't get these eyes. But now in the base game, you can get all the occult eyes. I'm assuming as long as you have the packs for the occults, I would assume so. Maybe I'm wrong. But we have the alien eyes. So these are the different alien eyes that we have from Get to Work. And then these are all the vampire eyes. I think some of these also are spellcaster eyes. But I know the last ones are more mermaid eyes. I'm not exactly sure which ones are vampires and which ones are spellcasters. But I know these ones that we're looking at currently are mermaids. Which I'm obsessed with because I don't really play with mermaids that often. So the fact I can just like play with their eyes now. Like I play with vampires a lot. I play with spellcasters a lot. So I kind of get like the fun eyes there. But this is really fun here in general. I really like this. Okay. So I think I'm going to give myself those eyes. So that is as far as the eye category goes. And then we also have new cast items, a new skin effect category, new eyelashes, and dirty fingernails. Okay, so let's look at the eyelashes first, since we're already here in the face. So we have so it looks like only the base game eyelashes got swatch updates. The Love Struck eyelashes still only have 2 swatches. But now the base game eyelashes have multiple swatches. So we have just the top lashes, and then we have the ones I was already wearing, which is the top, bottom, and the top lashes. And basically this literally just looks like new color mascara. I'm going to show it off on the bigger eyelashes just because it's a little bit easier to see. But it used to be that black was the default swatch, which was this one. And then we also have brown. But now we have purple, we have dark green, we have dark red, we have dark purple. We have like a mossy green, a dark blue, a brighter green, a brighter purple. Actually, this is like kind of two-toned. Hold up. Okay, so some of these are like two-toned. Okay, so this is like orange and red. This is green and purple. This is like blue and brown, blue and green, blue and purple, which is really cool. We have green and black. We have dark red. We have bright purple. We have bright green and bright blue. Honestly, I'm kind of obsessed with like the red eyelashes. That's really fun with my red hair. I don't know. I really like it. Okay. And then the skin category, I'm trying to remember what they had. Oh, yeah. It was under like accessories, which I thought was a weird choice. Okay. Well, we have skin effects. So it comes in just one swatch. Oh, I look shiny now. Wait, why do I look shiny? I don't like it. I mean, I guess for like occult sims, I could definitely see this being effective if you're trying to make like a mermaid or a fairy, even a plant sim or a Twilight vampire. this would be very useful. But it's just like, for a regular sim, like, it just makes my skin look greasy. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's there. It's there for us to use. And then we also had, while we're in this accessory category, have new nails. So fingernails. And honestly, dirty nails are kind of, yeah, they're fitting for me, honestly. If I can find the spot, I thought it was like a whole new nail in general. Here it is. Okay. My nails are like always dirty. I hate to admit that because that's gross, but maybe like not this dirty, but my nails typically have dirt under them unless I clean them, which I clean them like 3 times a day, but I get a ridiculous amount of dirt. So the fact that they put dirty nails in the game, yeah, like this is what I deal with, like just under the tips. It's just so realistic. Oh, they have a clean version too, though, which is actually just a nice, simple nail. I actually like that just as a simple nail. I kind of wish that was the default swatch, but the dirty nails are a fun little contribute. I think I'm going to give myself just regular nails for that. Oh, is this also I guess they have the same thing, but in shorter swatches. Okay, that's more realistic for me, is the shorter nails. Okay, I'm going to just give myself the regular nails, because I don't wear nail polish as much as I used to. I used to be obsessed with Holo Taco, but I don't wear them too much anymore. So I'll give myself the clean nails, but realistically, most of the time they're kind of dirty. So I think it's kind of cool that they added that as a category. And then, we also, I guess while we're in this category, can go ahead and look at the body hair. Honestly, though, I might go into Sam to look at the body hair, because I think he automatically has body hair and I don't. So let's look here. Okay, so I think they only improved the base game hair, but yeah, that does look a little less eye jarring. Let's look at it in darker swatches. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so beforehand it was kind of like this, where it was like really thick and coarse, which is somewhat realistic, but this looks more natural, so I can appreciate that. I'm assuming they did it for all the hair categories, not just base game, or I'm sorry, wrong wording, not just legs, but all the base game hair, body hairs. So the back hair is probably, the back hair actually doesn't look that much better. Honestly, I don't like the back hair that much, but they pretty much improved all the base game body hairs to look a little bit more natural. And then the very last thing I wanted to show off, as far as Creative Sim stuff go that they didn't point out already, was the new Creative Sim category. So if we go into hair, which honestly, I'm thinking I kind of wish I had put the hair I wore as my formal hair. Hold on. It was the Wedding Stories hair, because I know I had that one as my hair. Where is that one? Do they seriously not have that under long hair? No, they have to. There it goes. I was about to say, they have to. But also, I'm going to make my ears where they're way more obviously pointed, because this hair just clips with the ears a little too much than I prefer. But for a thumbnail purpose, I'm going to go ahead and put them like that. And then we can go to hat. And yeah, head decoration is the new category. So it looks like we only have one new head accessory now. Obviously, with the pack, we will get more. But we have a bow. Oh, it covers the ears, though. That makes me sad. No, it makes my ears go away. What if I put, like, a different hair on? Oh, it still covers up my ears. That's actually really annoying. Also, it clips when there's, like, super volume bangs. Like, the flat hairs and the hair that doesn't really have bangs don't really seem to be affected by it too much. But like this hair, the bow clips. Okay, it was a good effort. It was a good effort, but I don't think it was executed as well as it could have been. It is cute, and I do like the idea of us having a separate head decoration category that you can put with any hair instead of like the veil from Wedding Stories being tied to one hair. And now you can put accessories on any hair, even if they do clip. I guess you just kind of got to be picky. Hopefully the hair accessories that come with Enchanted by Nature are a little less clippy, but for now we just have the bow. So we have a green bow, we have a blurple bow, we have a red bow, a teal bow, a white bow, a solid black bow, a solid pinkish red bow, a solid green bow, a solid neon green bow, a solid pastel purple bow, a solid base game purple bow. We have a orange bow, another orange bow, just 2 different oranges, a light purple, a dark purple, a bright red, a brown, a white, a salmony stripe, a purple stripe, a yellow stripe, a solid blue, another solid brown but a different brown, and a yellow, which honestly for a free base game item is very much a huge amount of swatches. Like, we don't normally get that amount of swatches, which honestly is kind of impressive. So I'm actually kind of curious what the hair. Let me make this a second. Oh, okay. Well, let me give myself a 5th category. But I was gonna go in that hair I just had on, my sporty hair, if I can find it again. I waste too much time trying to find hairs in this game because they're not always like exactly under what I would think they'd be under. Okay, you know what? Do I want to go with this? No, this is the one I had. Okay, let's try on the bow with this because it's a pull back look. So we could do like a red bow to go with the red makeup. Oh, that's not bad. With this hair, it's not bad. Okay, I don't hate that. Okay, so there's that. I do prefer the ears, but we do have the bow too. And I think with that is officially everything in the patch notes that I could find, plus what was not listed in the patch notes that I could find. If I did miss anything in this update that I just wasn't aware about, feel free to let me know. I know this patch update technically came out yesterday by the time I'm posting this, but I hope you still enjoyed this video. I think this is a pretty good patch. Like, I always really enjoy the patches before an expansion pack just because they're the biggest. They give us the most content for free, and I will never complain about free content. Okay, maybe I'll complain about it, but I will never complain about it to the point that I'm just like, do not give us free content. Like, I will always appreciate the free content even if it's a little glitchy. But it's when it comes to paid content that I get upset that's a little glitchy, because you can't be too mad about free content being glitchy, but also they shouldn't be giving us glitchy content. But anyway, guys, just a quick reminder, if you haven't already updated your game, make sure to remove your mods, custom content, any of that if you play with that. Obviously, if you're on console, you can't really play with that, but if you're on PC, you might have that. So I just wanted to do one more last quick reminder. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was informational. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that awesome stuff, because you guys are awesome people. I'll see you next time. All right,